Welcome to our session today. We are going to be talking about the foundations of the crypto economy and of blockchain technologies. So this is our meeting program tonight. We're going to go over blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies. We're going to go over the main cryptocurrency market participants, exchanges, miners, investors, banks and others. Also, we're going to talk about different types of consensus protocols and different types of tokens, blockchain browsers.
Could you please, Rita? Rita, I'm
Yes.
sorry for interrupting. In the Spanish room, they still hear the music on. So could you please?
Okay, well, let's pause for a moment and you let me know when we can continue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, just give us a second, okay? Okay, Rita, sorry for interrupting. Please continue.
Thank you for that, Dennis. So welcome to everyone in the chat. So I hope all the rooms can hear now. Let's just go over the meeting program for tonight.
I'm sorry, Rita. Sorry.
That's okay.
Now
Let me know when we can begin.
Now we have the German room not being able to turn on their mic.
Okay. Usually we wait for a few minutes till everyone's online. So we'll wait patiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue. Thanks.
It's actually a good time for everyone to take a bit of a break and grab some water when we're waiting. Okay, so for tonight, welcome everyone. Welcome to all the rooms. Welcome to all the partners from all around the globe who have joined us today. We're going to go over this program. So today we're going to talk about blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies. Main cryptocurrency market participants, for example, exchanges, miners, investors, banks, and others. And we're going to talk about different types of consensus protocols, different types of tokens, blockchain browsers, ICOs, STOs, ETOs, listing on exchanges. You've heard a lot of these terminologies before. So let's dive in and check out exactly what they mean. So I'm Rita Ashen, and I'm very happy to be presenting with Maria Antonenko tonight. I am a representative of the Leadership Council and a new Consumer Community Partner Program President. I am passionate about teaching blockchain and cryptocurrency. I'm a certified Master Profi coach. Absolutely love the Game Genius of Finance, and we host it quite often here in Logan. And I'm also a member of the World's Generals for Peace, a speaker and a private investor. So let's get on with the presentation. Blockchain, you know, for many, it is quite a new word, but for something that's so complex, it's actually quite easy to explain. So what is it exactly? So do you remember years ago, many years ago, when they used to have things on scrolls, paper scrolls, right? With very long feather pens and ink. And so what they did is they wrote things, they kept records on paper scrolls, and then from there they moved to books and paper, And then with the introduction of the typewriter, we used to keep our records. We used to have typing pools of people that would type things for us. And then we would keep all those records in, do you remember, in these big, tall drawers, right, with locks on them. These are how we've been keeping our records historically. And then with the implementation of computers, we started moving all of our data onto computers. So all of our records moved onto computers. So blockchain, what that is, it's a step up from all of that. So basically, blockchain, simply put, it's still a ledger. It's a list of all of that data, all the data that we've been recording for hundreds and thousands of years. So it's a list of data, it's a list of records, all of those transactions, and they are put into these small digital blocks, and each digital block has its own size depending on what blockchain it is. And I'll give you an example of a Bitcoin block. For a Bitcoin block, it has approximately 2,000 transactions for every single block. And what's so fantastic about this, and I love the way this works, is when that block is full of transactions, the whole block is scanned and they have a transaction ID called a hash, and it starts off the very next block. So this is how things are actually chained together. So that is what blockchain is essentially. Now, remember the picture of the block that you saw. You did not recognize that writing, right? You didn't. So the reason why is because that writing is what we call, it's cryptographically written. And let's just take a look at this word and break it up. Crypto and graph. So we've got two words here. Crypto means secret and graph means to write. So together it means secret writing. And you may also recognize the secret writing. Sometimes they call it code. Sometimes they call it cipher, which is very popular from the movie by Nicolas Cage, National Treasure. If any of you have seen National Treasure and remember all the secret writing and the codes, just put a 5 in the chat. So cryptography, it isn't new. Actually, it's been around since the time of the pyramids, so it's quite ancient. So it hasn't just come about from when computers were invented. So if we talk about ancient cryptography, this age, it's dating back around about 4,000 years ago. So that is quite a long time, you would agree. So this is the technology that we're still using today. Blockchain, who was it invented by? Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, everyone, to this day, no one actually knows who this person is and whether Satoshi Nakamoto is a person or perhaps it could be a group of people. Now, Satoshi Nakamoto invented blockchain to have the Bitcoin currency. So it's the first Bitcoin currency ever made, but I don't believe that Satoshi Nakamoto would have believed that we would use his platform for other things instead of just a cryptocurrency. Now, just a little bit of what is it, just a little bit more about this person. This person has around about over 500,000 Bitcoin, and to this day it hasn't been touched. So that's a little bit of trivia about Satoshi Nakamoto for you. Now, how does the blockchain work? So let's look at this diagram, starting from number 1. First of all, let's take a transaction of perhaps me sending you some cryptocurrency, right? So I'm sitting at my computer and I initiate a transaction, right? And then what happens is that transaction is then transferred to the network and it's collected in a block, right? And each block has its own special number. It has its hash of the previous block. And that's how they all link together. Now, blocks are distributed to all the systems. So they're distributed to all the systems for verification. As you can see, some of the systems are just mobile phones, some could be computers. And then if there are no errors, each of the participant records a block in their database. And then the block then gets added to the blockchain, which contains all the information about the previous transactions. And only then when it's added to the block will the money be transferred. So then it's verified, then and only then the money or the cryptocurrency will move. So that is how it works. Now, what are its uses? So it's also, blockchain is not just used for cryptocurrency, it's also used in the finance industry. Now, it can be used to settle, settlements, also to move money. You know, they've got a system in the banking industry at the moment. It's called the SWIFT system, and it's quite, it can be quite lengthy to transfer money. So this way is much faster, much more efficient. Also, it can, you know, reduce theft in that industry, reduce human error, and it also adds a layer of transparency. So that's a whole nother, the finance industry and what they use blockchain for, it's a whole nother webinar on its own. And then we have smart contracts, which aren't necessarily an actual contract that you and I know. They store rules in smart contracts, and they verify the rules, and then they execute by themselves. So they don't need another person. So with normal contracts that you and I know, you always have to trust a third party person, right? So you have to trust like a person or an organization, lawyers, brokers, escrow agents, some government departments. But with a smart contract, you put your trust in the data and you cut out all those people that are in the middle. We call them intermediaries. Now, local councils and governments, they can use smart contracts to grant things like benefits and things like student loan applications. In business, smart contracts can be used to settle loans and real estate and purchase and sell agreements. So there's a range of different things that smart contracts can be used for. And you know, it saves time and it saves money for both partners. And then we've got cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity, obviously, protection from online threats, protection from hackers. And right now they use cybersecurity. And for example, when you're texting someone or when you're sending a private message on WhatsApp, those are all protected by encryption. And that's very popular type of cybersecurity via the blockchain. And moving along, supply chain. So companies can also use blockchain to get updated information on a product or a component of a product. So for example, if it was a computer, they could track the computer or even just parts of the computer. And you see the picture, everyone in the supply chain can update the data, and then everyone can share. So it's a massive tracking of where everything is. And you know, in the future, I envision that when we go to the supermarket, we'll also be able to get out our mobile phones and just, you know, press a button and look at a particular product in the supermarket or at the stores, and then see the history, you know, maybe using a barcode or scan a barcode, and then we can see exactly where our product has come from. So it would make things easier, make your choice easier. So for example, if I only wanted to purchase things that were Australian made, especially food products, then I'd be able to use that and see exactly in the supply chain how long it took for this fruit to be picked, how long it took for it to be transported, and how long it took to get to the supermarket. So, you know, our consumers in time are gonna be very spoiled, I would say, from when I used to buy things, and I still buy things, but from our day. With healthcare, this is a very interesting industry as well. Imagine that you are traveling. Well, imagine after this whole issue with what we're going through is finished and the borders are open, again, imagine that you have all your records uploaded to the blockchain, and if anything happens to you overseas, if you need medical attention, the medical professionals can get your information as fast as that. So this will be very helpful, especially in places, in times as well when someone needs a transplant. I think that that will be a very interesting area to focus on, because there's a lot of problems with transplants and trying to match organ donors to the people, that the recipients that need them. And I think blockchain will be very helpful in this arena as well. And also with waiting lists, if you have people on the blockchain, you upload it all to the blockchain, there won't be any favoritism. So you couldn't just call up a friend in the, you know, at the hospital and get pushed up the waiting list. So those kind of methods are very unfair. So this will also help to make it a fairer system. And one of my favorite things, absolute favorite things, is if when they implement blockchain for the voting system, I'm so excited about this, because what this will mean is that we'll be able to improve the system. Imagine that we all cast a vote with our phones, right? With an app on our phones, and that this information is automatically counted. Like there won't be any need for a whole group of people to start counting the votes. And I feel that, you know, we can, this will help with that, you know, with that corruption and that dishonesty around the voting system. And we could vote not only for the 4 yearly elections, we could vote for all the local elections if we could do it on our phone using the blockchain. So I'm excited about that for the future. Now with cryptocurrency, of course, blockchain was originally implemented and brought into existence to support the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. So this blockchain is the platform that they're all built on. But just know this, that I've shown you some of the uses. So when you hear the word blockchain, you know, don't limit yourself. Don't just, you know, have a small limit about, oh, blockchain means cryptocurrency. It means an exchange, because it means so much more than that. And, you know, there's so much more that this technology has to offer in many areas of our lives and our business. And it's going to solve a lot of problems for us in the future. So let's take a look at the different types of blockchains. We have public blockchains. Now, these blockchains are normally decentralized. So what decentralized means is there's not one place where all the records are held. They're dispersed everywhere. So because they're dispersed everywhere, we don't really need trust. Just think about, like, if you're walking down the street at night and there's one person down the long dark alley, right? Would you trust that person because it's only you and them? Maybe not necessarily, but if you were walking down this alleyway and there were a couple of hundred people walking as well, you feel the safety in numbers. Well, that's sort of like this. You have that trust because there are a lot of people. With the public blockchains, you don't need any permission to join them, to join that network. The users aren't known. It's transparent. So you've already experienced that with your portfolios when you click onto the Ethereum blockchain, which is also a public blockchain. It's harder to scale though. So that means the throughput of the transactions, right? So it takes a bit longer, but also it's a secure network. And of course, one of the popular blockchains, public blockchains, are Bitcoin. Now, a consortium blockchain, it's somewhat decentralized. You need some trust here. We have a few users that have permission to join, so it's not open to everyone. The users are known to each other, so you may have about 2 or 3 enterprises. They can be transparent by choice. And because it's just a small amount of users, they can have, you know, they can having a number of people that are actually going to mine the blockchain and that are going to verify the transactions. So in most cases, it's easier to scale. And an example of this is Ripple. And private blockchain, these are centralized. So the information is kept in one place. So definitely trust is needed here. You have a closed group that have permission, only permission to join that network. The users are known to each other and they can be transparent by choice, so they don't have to be. And in most circumstances, they're not. And again, a small amount of people that are looking after this network, so it's very easy to scale. The transactions are normally quite faster on a private blockchain. So we have Hyperledger. Now, Hyperledger is not actually a blockchain itself, but it is a platform where they have, companies with some enterprises use their platform to build private blockchains. And then we have hybrid blockchains. Now these have elements of public and private blockchains. You still need some trust here. The transactions, they can be verified privately, and then they can push some transactions out to be verified publicly as well. The users are known, they're transparent by choice, and again, this is very easy to scale, so the transactions are quite fast here as well. And an example of hybrid blockchain is another platform called Dragon Chain. Now let's take a look at some of the popular blockchains, and some of these you may know. Put a 1 in the chat if you know these blockchains. First of all, the granddaddy of all cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and then we have Ethereum that's very popular for the smart contracts. And then we have EOS, and this one is a very fast blockchain as well, because they have a very small amount of validators. And then we have Litecoin, similar to Bitcoin, very fast, much faster than Bitcoin. And then we have Waves, which is very popular for decentralized crowdfunding and also their decentralized exchange. And then we have Stellar. Stellar is also not only for crypto assets, but also, trade. You can, with assets like, like normal dollars and stocks and gold and things like that. So Stellar is quite a popular blockchain as well. And I hope you'll agree, put a 10 in the chat if you think one day we are going to have one of the top popular blockchains around the globe. So let me see some feedback there. Okay, great. Awesome. I can see a lot of you raising your hands. So who will benefit from blockchain? Well, blockchain and similar technologies, what they will do is they will show up honest people, right? So if you are an honest company, if you are an honest producer, if you are an honest government, then you don't have anything to hide, right? Because like cream, you will rise to the top. And if you are not honest and sincere in your industry, blockchain is going to find you out, and you should do what you can to be honest, because people will be able to see exactly what you do. And therefore, if you don't change, then you just won't get any business, and then you'll just, you'll just cease to exist. So move with the blockchain technology, because this is where the world is going. And now, why blockchain, and what is its relevance to our company? Well, we deal in a lot of investments, and we definitely want to invest in, very exciting and cutting edge companies. And as business owners, we also want to stay current and provide the best products and services to our customers, because we are very different, and that's why each and every one of you are here tonight and today. You want to share your knowledge, all the knowledge that we learn here. We want to share this with our families. We want to share the knowledge with our friends and our work colleagues, and we want to, share the knowledge with the world, with our children and our grandchildren, and because they're all part of our company, which is all part of the new economic evolution of the world, right? And I noticed just with my children as well, and the younger generation, this next generation, they are going to be very, you know, they're very fussy, they're very savvy kind of buyers, and they're going to want more from things, and they're going to, you know, they're already hungry for more. They're very clever when they're spending their money. They want to research everything about that product before we buy it. So, you know, we have to move with technology, and we have to provide these things for them because they demand more, and we want to make sure that we are absolutely there to be able to provide this for people. So have you ever heard the term the straight and narrow? You know what that means is it normally means that, you know, things have to be right, that we have to be honest, and we have to stay morally true. So we want to implement blockchain for many reasons. We have goals, and, you know, we have a mission, and we want to carry out those in the correct and the moral way, the transparent way, and the way that is legal. So, you know, you have other companies, and they may rush, and they may, you know, sweep things under the carpet, but even though we may take a bit longer, it will definitely be worth it. So thank you everyone for your attention. Let me go to the next slide and introduce you to the lovely Maria Antonenko, investment consultant. She's a continuous investor, owner of 9 apartments, and a rural millionaire. She's also a master profi training graduate, and I'm excited to have her come and join us. Please come and join us, Maria.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
So let's check how well you can hear and see me. Please give me your tens to mean that you can hear and see me well. Now I will change the slides on my laptop. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you very much, Rita. Your session was very captivating about blockchain. And I do know that Rita has very extensive experience in different ICO projects. And next time, we will surely make a webinar on ICO where Rita will share her experience. I also participated in a number of ICO. It was quite interesting in 2017. Now it's of no relevance anymore. And most of you, while listening to what we are saying and thinking actually, why we need all this knowledge, that there is the public blockchain, private blockchain, how we can use it and apply to our lives. But without knowing this, it does not mean that these technologies do not exist in our lives. And the goal of our Academy of Private Investor is to make you educated in all the sectors of your life, not only the stock market or forex market where you can make money on trading in currencies. Cryptocurrency market is a new phenomenon in our life, and when something new emerges, it actually includes both high profits but high risks as well. And we actually aim to give you general information for you to understand where it is profitable and where it is of high risk, or which exercise and intervention is highly risky. And while watching these webinars, please take notes, and next time when you get this information that some company is issuing some coins, so you will already have some basic knowledge to assess whether the project is good or not. And today I want to share the vision with you that cryptoeconomics does not only include Ethereum, blockchain, or any cryptocurrency. Today, it includes exchangers, mining capacities, mining farms, banks that service all these exchangers. And through the blockchain technology, as Rita said it correctly, there are these ledgers of real estate, of healthcare, and the producer of crude oil, like British Petroleum 2 years ago, adopted into its supply chain the blockchain technology for them to detect and trace online the number of barrels of oil extracted, because there on these sites, extraction sites, there were some incidents of stealing, of corruption, and today many cutting-edge companies use Ethereum-based blockchain, for example, to trace their supplies of crude oil. And what does it mean for the Ethereum Alliance? It means that the British Petroleum buys Ethereum-based coin to transfer smart contracts for the supply of its oil based on Ethereum. And like the Russian bank VTB, when they got the state order on the transfer of Russian real estate on its migration to blockchain, they also selected Ethereum-based blockchain, and our Russian bank procured Ethereum, purchased Ethereum as a cryptocurrency to place it into the ledger for the bank. And this system, believe me, will develop even further. And many bankers, bank officers who don't understand what blockchain technology is about, who don't study this, they are unemployed. Because when I studied in the Moscow State University in blockchain technologies, there were 100 students there, and I believe 90% of them were bank officers, chairing and heading credit departments or the mortgage departments, and without knowledge in blockchain, they could actually lose their jobs. And therefore, if today you believe that it does not apply to you, believe me, in 2-3 years, blockchain will penetrate all the segments of our life. Maybe it will be slower in Russia, but in such advanced countries as US, Germany, Australia, Japan, New Zealand, these technologies are developing very quickly with a fast pace. And here you can see the average statistic about the Bitcoin capitalization when its price was $10,000. Its capitalization at that time was 153 billion. Today, the price of Bitcoin went down about $7,000, and the capitalization is about 120 billion US. But what does it mean for the global market and the crypto economy? It means that the people maintain their savings in cryptocurrencies, in Bitcoin. Some of them may trade in the exchange or use this as the means of payment to avoid commissions and charges to be paid to the banks. And this only applies to Bitcoin. But as regards other coins and cryptocurrencies, the total capitalization of this market is from 300 to 350 billion US, depending on the exchange rate, because they may go either up or down. And actually, this figure may seem to be quite high, 300 billion in cryptocurrencies. But globally, if we compare it to the stock market with trillions of dollars capitalization, this figure seems to be very small. The cryptocurrency world and market is quite small compared to the global dimension. But for those plants of miners that are mostly located in China, the global revenue of cryptocurrency miners per year is about $4 billion US. So they used to make some trainers, some sports suits, but now they shifted to mining of cryptocurrency, and they don't need to keep stock of goods at their warehouses. They simply make money by mining cryptocurrencies. And the revenues of the exchanges is over 5 billion and even higher. I won't dive into details about the difference between blockchain systems, centralized and decentralized systems, because you've learned it from Rita, but the benefits for users, someone in the chat, I read it, says that it will be transparent, and this transparency means total control. But if we have nothing to hide, then it should be transparent, because I'm sure and confident that not only in Russia, but in other countries where the banks had some double entries, they hid from the regulators and the depositors the real situation. And when the license were cancelled, so the banks simply destroyed the central server of their bank, the central computer, or set fire in their premises or some flooding, and ruined the disk of their computer. And this information was not disclosed to the agency of the deposit guarantee, like in case of central bank, when 52 billion Russian rubles, so the depositors were not actually secured against these fraudulent practices by these banks. And the faster the blockchain is introduced into the banking system, the more secure the depositors will be. And blockchain is demanded when participants store their data on assets, financial assets, on stock, shares, and some other important data and information. But at the same time, participants do not trust each other. Like Rita cited an example of healthcare or some queues for social benefits, when there could be some corruption and a person could be put in front in this queue. But in case of blockchain, it's not possible. And in Russia today, even some universities that issue the diplomas, they migrate this data on blockchain to avoid fraud and fake diplomas to be issued. To avoid a situation that a student would come to a university with paid tuition, and he didn't attend any session or any lecture, but eventually he got his diploma, his degree. And actually the process of tuition is recorded on blockchain, and then this degree won't be issued to such a student. And today some universities use this technology for these purposes. Rita already told you about the smart contracts. This is a software on the PC which is automatically executed, and the execution of the contract is dependent on the computer rather than on a person. And an easy example of a smart contract is when you enter a terminal, a vending machine that sells you a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. So this vending machine, you put your money and you get espresso, cappuccino, Americano. And this is an example of smart contract. So this vending machine verifies the presence of money, and when you press this button actually instructs the vending machine to grab some milk, some coffee, mix it, add some sugar, and give you your cappuccino. So this is a smart contract. There is no barista engaged. The machine does everything automatically. But what will happen to our CRU blockchain implemented or executed through the smart contract? This is accrual of CRU token for your staking. Today we are talking about placing of CRU tokens already deblocked on the depot account whereby you get additional CRU tokens, or you can place them at staking based on blockchain and get these utility tokens of blockchain, and it is specified in the smart contracts. Our technical department is not involved, like in case we get profit bonus or bonuses under the loyalty program. So this is done manually by the people of this technical department. They calculate the amount, divide it by your units, and our technical department make accruals to your back offices. And there is the human factor involved. We are waiting for our IT guys to find some time slot to do this work. But in case there is blockchain-based smart contract, you don't need to wait for IT guys to have this time slot and write this program code. The computers do everything automatically. The smart contract is designed in advance, and no matter which day or part of day it is, night or date, and it is done automatically. And this is the reason you need the knowledge about smart contracts, for you to understand how in another few months you will be future to delegate your CRU tokens and get utility tokens under the smart contracts developed. Well, we use such a term as the blockchain explorer. Explorer, I like bitaps.com explorer to see the movement and transfer of bitcoins that I transfer to someone. And please write this down if you don't know the name of this explorer, bitaps.com. Some people use a different one, but I like it. I like this one. This one is my favorite, and we see that there were 8 zeros in the hash of this block. And in the first block, block number 1, 8 zeros at the start of this hash. And 10 years passed. Blockchain Bitcoin uses consensus protocol proof of work. Consensus means trust. Computers actually do all the computation. They look for this hash, and it takes from 30 minutes to 1 hour to mine one Bitcoin. So this time is required for hundreds of computers to get this hash file, and this is the proof of work, the confirmation of the work done. There is another term, mining. It's like mining coal in the mining site, and out of this pack of ore, actually, they may find only one single diamond or one particle of gold, and computers do computation. If you have a look in hash, there is 19 zeros. There is such a term, block difficulty, meaning the complexity or difficulty of block. 50 trillion 941 billion of combinations to be done by a computer to find this hash. Yes, a lot of computers are engaged, a lot of power is consumed, and this diamond, rough diamond, is found like this hash, which at the beginning will have 19 zeros. And why do miners do this? To get the reward, 12.5 bitcoins. Do you see at the bottom of this slide, there is block reward 12.5. When one bitcoin costs 10,000, it means 125,000 as such. Yes, today's price is 7,000, not bad, 100,000 US dollars for the computation done by the computer. You don't need to go down to the coal mine and mine, or you can mine Bitcoins. And therefore, large corporations today engage in this business, and they maintain large computation farms of several kilometers long. So they are workshops with the installed computers in. In our case, in case of our blockchain Cryptounit, we will use a different protocol, consensus protocol. It is called proof of stake. So there are different editions: lease proof of stake, like leasing coins. When you don't have coins, but you want to make money on top of this, you can rent these coins from someone, place them at staking, and start making money. But there are delegated proof of stake approach, when you have coins, but you can delegate them to those people owing some nodes. This is a node, a computer node, which is based on the protocol of proof of stake, actually prove this node. And the computer doesn't need very huge computation capacity. It's enough to run the ledger. And based on this proof of stake protocol on this computer, there should be a lot of tokens, coins, because without the coins, and in case this computer starts damaging, making double entries, or trying to sign additional coins to some account, unless there are coins, then this is actually the moment when a human can interfere into blockchain. But when there are a lot of coins, a person invested into these coins, he will not harm himself. He will be interested in the fair accrual and operation of all the nodes of this blockchain. And this is like the commercial interest of validators to validate transactions performed. And in our blockchain of Cryptounit, the first nodes will belong to the company. The first few months, we won't allow third parties to deploy nodes. We need to ensure safety and security first of all, and therefore in the first few months, nodes will be owned either by the members of the Presidential Council interested in the success of our company, or to other officials or partners of the CRU program with a large stake, those who invested a lot in these tokens, CRUs, and they are also interested in the success of our project. And as soon as we accumulate or collect these 51% of voting nodes among our community, only then we will allow to connect to our blockchain nodes from outside, and we will have the hybrid blockchain. And it's great that Rita mentioned this. First of all, it will be private because nodes will belong solely to the company, and then it will be turned into hybrid. So we will make it public. We will in GitHub publish the code, and any person willing could actually deploy this node. This is the way the Ethereum blockchain observer looks like, and our observer called Explorer Cryptounit.cc, cryptocurrency. And at the last summary webinar, actually, we shared this address with you for you to observe how our Explorer operates. So there is such a term, fork, the process of dividing a software product into versions. And such forks, like attachments, they are Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin CV. At some point, at some block, to say 500,000, the team of IT guys say that we are going to fork Bitcoin. So the core Bitcoin lives independently, but from that point, there is a chain to this variation in other computers. In our case, we will use EOS blockchain, EOS fork, to be used, but we will not actually grab all the EOS blockchain which has been collected or developed so far. We will start from scratch. All our blocks will have only our transactions. Well, now let's discuss types of tokens. We know the term cryptocurrency, coin, but it's correct to use today the term token, like a particle of currency. And there is such a term as utility token. They are the first tokens which emerged, meaning that every token has its own function, like providing some services. Ethereum provides services for the promotion of smart contracts. For the smart contracts to be executed faster, they say that we need to accelerate. And for Ethereum, this particle of Ethereum is called gas, to spend or consume gas for your contract to be executed. There are some game tokens such as Tron issued for the gaming community. People play online games and they use these coins for settlement. In our case, in our utility token, it will be a token of our blockchain, and we will use it as the exchange token, utility token. We will have our internal exchange, whereby it will be much profitable to pay a commission by your tokens, like in case of Binance token, and there the 50% discount. We will use the successful experience of these exchanges, and our exchange token, utility token, will provide a discount if you want to trade in exchange. Another type is the security token, tokens with the functions of stock. They are those tokens that provide to the users, to their owners, the same rights as the stock company. So the profits and the ownership. For example, Aspen Coin, this is about real estate in Colorado, the USA, for millionaires, Aspen. And the luxurious hotel, they tokenized it, so meaning that every centimeter of real estate of this hotel was transferred into coins, Aspen Coin, and people, by investing into Aspen Coin, now have a share in the profits of this hotel. Hotel is for wealthy people. They stay there and generate profits, and all the owners of this Aspen Coin get some dividends from the ownership of these coins. In our case, the security token is Cryptounit. So we have venture investments, and our investments in gold, basalt, sushi masti do not generate the profits we would like to have. We expect to see the profits from the operations of these segments 1 year after, but the right for the ownership, co-ownership of the global investment portfolio is a fair right, because the portfolio and its price goes up and the price of the token goes up as well. Another type is stable coin. An example is Tether, USDT, and USDC, digital dollar, and they are different by those issuing exchanges. So Libra tried on behalf of Facebook to issue the coin, and it would equal to the co-ownership right by the community, but unfortunately the Swiss committee actually found in the Facebook documents provided by Mark Zuckerberg the signs or characteristics of digital stock, that Libra is not stable coin but the share, because it has growth, capitalization, coin growth, and the right to get profits from transactions. And it's great that Zuckerberg actually applied to Swiss committee, not the US one, unless he has no ban on the continuation of his project. Now he will need to submit the document to confirm that this is the security token. Unlike the Pavel Durov of Telegram, because he received a ban from the Securities Committee in the US on the sale of these tokens to people. And now Pavel Durov either will have to pay back the investments to the investors, or to go to the Securities Committee of the US and acknowledge this as a security token. What prevents many people from recognizing their tokens as security tokens? Because it requires documents where money comes from, what money is spent on. And in another 10 years of development of cryptocurrency market, there were a lot of coins, over 5,000 tokens, and the ideas were fully different, including projects that entered market with a good and quite fair ideas, but eventually they turned out to be scam. And they turned out to be scam and pyramids.
But people who invested in that project in the beginning didn't know how it was going to end. Many coins today are not existent anymore in any of the exchanges, and some of the good ones, like exchange Binance Coin, for example, I registered at Binance when they were just a funny exchange. They had 3 or 4 coins listed there, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Coin, and it wasn't even clear whether it's going to grow into something good. Well, people thought it was just another startup that they're inviting friends over because they gave you 50 Binance coins for registration, and if you invite a friend to that exchange. So today, it is one of the biggest exchanges, crypto exchanges in the world. Some of the coins went into oblivion. You know, some of them lost their value since the launch, and some of them still persist and bring value. And in many cases, when new coins are launched, you need not only to pay attention to a beautiful promo, because I'm sent a lot of different materials like, look at this platform, Maria, look at that one. And when we were holding our tender for our blockchain developing company team, I've been sent dozens of presentations, nice slides, beautiful video promos. They don't mean that that team is going to succeed. At least our company has experience. We have a 5-year experience of doing crowd investing, and we have a vision where to invest the money that we raise, unlike, for example, Son Coin, which is a Russian project which raised $80 million. Their idea was just to decentralize storage of data. But all those raised $80 billion, the founders of the project, they put it in their pockets and they went on a vacation. They bought lots of nice cars, apartments, and that's it. they didn't have any money for the development of their own company. And today, Sonm is delisted from practically all the exchanges. There is no such coin at all, although they did have a good start. And the history shows that in 2017, 9 out of 10 ICOs became scam. So they were like disappearing with money that investors trusted them with. And I think that today is the time when those scam projects needs to be to go into oblivion, you know, because the regulators over the 10 years of history finally have some experience, and they are now keeping close tabs on the internet. And the security token offer is a new trend in cryptocurrency. When companies go to the regulators themselves, they submit the information about themselves, and then they issue tokens according to law without really raising a lot of money, you know, and buying themselves Ferraris, a Lamborghini, and then go to have a vacation in a warm country. So they want to develop their company and give revenues, share revenues with their investors. In the world, there are very few countries who adopted laws on cryptocurrency. So in green on this map, you can see the countries where laws on cryptocurrencies have been already adopted. The United States were the first to say that we're going to regulate cryptocurrency phenomenon, and we're gonna treat it as securities. We're not interested in what you're saying, utility, not utility. We don't care. Let's put it under the umbrella of the Security Exchange Commission. So if there is an investment component and people invest money to receive profits, then it's a stock, and it should be regulated as such by the stock exchange. Switzerland said we're gonna split cryptocurrencies into 3 tokens: security token, utility token, and stable coin. Japan said Bitcoin is money. They were one of the first on the July the 1st, 2016, if I'm not mistaken, to recognize Bitcoin as a means of payment. In 2018, Germany recognized Bitcoin as a means of payment. But in many other countries, including Russia, India, it is still a blank field, you know, there is no legal regulation over there. So our lawmakers, guys sitting in the parliament who develop the law on cryptocurrencies, have been doing that for 3 years already and cannot come to a consensus how to treat that phenomenon. And a summit has been held, G20, in 2018. Next slide. And at that summit, they said that the cryptocurrency phenomenon does not undermine the financial stability, because the volume of cryptocurrency market is less than 1%. Although the volume, as you can see on the graph, increases each year, in the global scale, it is just less than 1%. So there is no a need to hurry with the application of law, with the adoption of laws on cryptocurrencies, especially in those countries where the cryptocurrency investment volumes are less than 1%. So that's the global attitude or treatment of this phenomenon. Security token offering. In 2019, there were 89 projects, $267 million raised. As I said, this is a new phenomenon in the world of crypto economy. By countries, if we take a look, 84% of STOs were held in the United States. The orange sector is 12% Germany. The green sector is 10% Switzerland. Then the purple one is Liechtenstein and other countries of the Europe, the Baltic states. A very small percentage, which is 5% in Great Britain, and then less than 1% in Malta, Virginia, and Gibraltar, Virgin Islands. And so as for the areas by industry, usually it's the mainly it's the financial industry or the real estate or the technologies or the development of technologies, software for the STO and communication, health, mobile applications, services, pharmaceutical products, etc. So the areas of application of STOs are diverse. 70 out of 89 projects have been launched on Ethereum blockchain, 6 projects on Stellar, 2 projects on Iroha Hyperledger, and 3 projects on other blockchains. I don't have the current information on that. As we can see from the review of the STO market, our Cryptounit token, security token, is going to be very much in demand because out of all the previous 89 STO projects, none of them had a diversified approach. No global investment portfolio. Our money is invested in various sectors of economy which are not exposed to crisis, such as gold mining or basalt production. And we are now collecting documents on all of our assets. We are translating them, having them translated into English in order to ultimately submit them to the US Security Exchange Commission and eventually bring our token to the exchanges that trade in security tokens. And since this market in 2019 has started gaining pace, and we starting from the end of 2019, in September, October, in July, there were no even platforms for the launch of STO. Now we have those platforms, which we are very glad about, and we're preparing our documents for 2 exchanges trading in STO tokens at the same time. Many people in the chat are asking when you're going to launch your own blockchain. Guys, here you can see our tentative roadmap we're trying to follow. That roadmap, we're going to have our own blockchain by the 30th of July, the fully fledged version of it with the peer-to-peer exchanges. Staking will be implemented as well. Our utility token will be accrued to the holders of owners of nodes, and also our utility token will be used in the loyalty programs such as Shicard and other marketplaces. And now we are holding negotiations with the software developments who will make an online game for us, the Genius of Finance. And in that online game, we're going to use our utility token as a game token. So it's quite an interesting perspective for us. Now, friends, I'm gonna browse through your questions if they are in the chat and still are not answered. Guys in the chat, this is your chance to ask your questions, but be quite precise, okay, about it. And we'll try to translate them into English as well, into Russian. So some of our partners are sharing the links with me, and Explorer Cryptounit are asking for a the slide deck. Of course, we will share it with you. Some of you saying that Gazprom is fueling their airplanes using blockchain. So I don't see any real questions here. Well, as for when our coins are going to be traded, we're now in the lockdown, self-isolation. No planes are actually flying in Russia. They ceased the entire transportation communication until the 30th of April, the entire package of documents that our lawyers are preparing for the US Securities Exchange. So you have like whole piles of them, you know, mountains of hard copies. They need to eventually be transported to the United States. And we are, you know, on a lockdown. We're kind of restricted here. So I cannot really give you any specific dates, guys, because you know the conditions we're in. But as soon as the transportation communication is back online, then we will submit the documents right away and we will inform you about it. There is a merge American Exchange. It's like a branch of the Boston Stock Exchange, which is also now in the stage of approval with the Security Exchange Commission. The Boston Stock Exchange requested from the Security Exchange Committee of the United States the approval for trading in security tokens. I read that document, and there is a deadline. If within 90 days, and they made the request in February 2020, if within the next 90 days, other participants of the stock market do not submit any objections, like if there is no objection, then the commission will allow the Boston Exchange to trade in security tokens. So the exchange itself did not receive the permission from the regulator to start trading. So we're waiting for the both things to happen. So the merge exchange itself, and there is also like an application for our token that we need to fill in and the entire data. But before we go to the exchange, we need to go to the Security Exchange Commission. We cannot, you know, avoid the chain of command. At first, the local exchange needs to receive the permission from the Security Exchange Commission, and the document review period is up to 45 days of the application. I mean, and then there is the legal opinion. An opinion of lawyers, you know, that this specific token is taken into account and entered into the register of the Securities Exchange Commission. Please observe the law on stock markets, go to the exchange, etc. So this is like the sequence of stages that we need to go through. We're gonna speed up, of course, and as soon as we have the opportunity to move around, our specialists will fly to the United States right away. Okay, guys, another question here: when we're gonna launch our blockchain? As I told you, until the 30th of June, according to our contract with our blockchain development team, the full version of blockchain. We already have 2 nodes up and running. This week, starting from Monday, next week, I mean, on the 13th of April, we're gonna have our technical department migrating data from back offices to our blockchain. So all those transactions that you saw on Ethereum blockchain will be migrated to our own blockchain, and explorer.cryptounit.cc, you will be able to see all of those transactions. And on the same side, you will be able to download the wallet to move the token to your wallet and then make exchanges between yourselves, like peer-to-peer. It will be a decentralized exchange at first. And starting from July, we're going to create a centralized exchange where we're going to have other coins being traded, like Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Starting from July until September, which is the next stage, is to create a centralized exchange. So I think as far as the questions are concerned, I've covered them all. I wonder if there are any questions from the Italian, Spanish chats as well. There is a question from the Spanish chat. What kind of wallet you're gonna recommend? Well, we're gonna have our own wallet to keep your Cryptounit tokens and the tokens of our blockchain. And we're gonna have a stable coin, a unit, which is equal to $1. So all those 3 types of tokens will be kept at our own or your own wallet. Yeah, the white paper, guys, white book. It will be published. We wanted to do it in April, but I have the feeling that it's gonna be somewhere early mid-May. I'll explain you why we don't want to publish it sooner, because we have competitors, and we have a lot of people who do not wish us well. You know, they can harm us. And before we submit, until we submit the documents to the Security Exchange Commission to, you know, to put, to call dibs, you know, on our own token, because you might have known that on Ethereum, there are already several crypto units, actual crypto units are issued. As soon as we launched our Ethereum-based blockchain, they started copying our crypto unit logo. They changed the colors. It was green and purple and violet, and they called it crypto unit. In order to avoid that, we're not going to publish our white paper before our lawyers submit the application to the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, so that the name of our token, our logos, are copyright protected. So when the fraudsters are gonna copy the name of our tokens or trying to confuse people, we will be able to punish them legally. So now it's quite dangerous to publish that document in advance. It's gonna be disseminated across the entire world on the internet, and the commission, the Security Exchange Commission, won't give us the right of discovery or the source, you know, original source. So we're gonna need to submit the application with the name of the token, with the logos, etc. We need to have the entire description of the procedure. Hopefully you understood me. Okay, do we have any other questions relevant to what we've been just discussing? I will have several questions from the Italian chat, if I may. So partners are asking what kind of wallet it is best to use to buy and purchase Bitcoins, like Binance, etc. Okay, I got you. Oh, as far as the trading in Bitcoins is concerned, I recommend Copay wallet. It's from the BitPay company. I've downloaded it to my phone. I don't know whether you can see it or not. This is the logo of the application. It's Copay. It's one of the most reliable wallets for keeping and transferring Bitcoin. Coinbase is also a good wallet because there is an American exchange behind it, the American bank behind it. But Coinbase, as most other wallets, is just reflecting the statistics of the availability of your Bitcoins on the wallet. But in truth, your Bitcoins are in the exchange. So you can see the entry on your phone, like you have 1 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoins or 0.5 Bitcoins. But if you take the hash of your wallet and put it into the BitOps Explorer, you will see 0 there. You know, when I do my training, conduct training, and my students are checking their wallets through the Explorer, BitOps Explorer, or through the Ethereum Explorer, Ethereum scan and see 0, they're shocked. How come I had 1 Bitcoin? Where did it go? It's just the statistics that Coinbase, as the organization, owes you 1 Bitcoin. But at that time, your Bitcoin is already traded in the exchange. And if you want to send it to someone, the Coinbase will take another Bitcoin from the exchange and will give it to you and send it to the given details. It's not a cold wallet. It's called a hot wallet. So access the holder of the Coinbase, the owner of the Coinbase, has the access to your Bitcoins. Copay, in my opinion, for now, it is the only wallet that I tested so far, and that doesn't have access to my Bitcoins. They are being kept there. And in the block explorer, I can see that the wallet, those Bitcoins arrived to my wallet, and they will be there until I send them to someone else. Well, you can check any wallet through the block explorer. In the Spanish chat, they are asking to put up the picture of that wallet once again. Well, it's not on the slides, it's on my phone. So I'm gonna show it to you again how it looks like this. It's a C underscored. Unfortunately, you cannot download it on Android or on a computer. It doesn't have a desktop version, so it's only for iOS. BitPay wallet for Android from the same company. But there might be some tricks like with the Coinbase. But the Coinbase as an organization is quite reliable. Even if they use your Bitcoins for exchange trading, they never were caught on making Bitcoins disappear. Blockchain Info, on the other hand, were the first who came up in the market, and they are the most vulnerable. They are most oftenly hacked, and I saw a great number of tears, when people went to their blockchain info, and they were shocked to see zero on their balance. Someone withdrew all of their Ethereum coins and Bitcoins. There are cold wallets like flash memory sticks and nano ledgers. Well, this is the most secure way of keeping your cryptocurrencies, when your cryptocurrency is stored on your memory stick, not somewhere online on the network. Any more questions? So people in the English chat do not really understand what staking is and are asking you to explain it once again. Well, staking, guys, it's a proof of stake. It's a protocol, of trust between one computer and another. It's a protocol of consensus. It's called proof of stake. No, in this case, you can understand it as is, proof of stake, that there is a proof that you have a stake. It can be compared to a shareholders voting. For example, we have 500 shareholders coming to a shareholders meeting, and they want to vote. They put their votes in a ballot in the box, and they would like to, to vote for Mr. Smith, as a chairperson. So they put their stake or their vote. In our blockchain, this procedure of voting is done through our tokens, Cryptounits. So we're voting, we're making a stake, we're sending our tokens through the blockchain to a wallet. We're gonna tell you, for example, we have 21 owners of the mainframes, nodes, let's call them. One node is gonna be owned by Havratov, CEO. The second node will be kept by Petro from Italy. A third node will be held by Rita in Australia. The fourth node will be kept by someone in India, in the United States. And you look at those people and you understand that they are the keepers of that mainframe, of that node. Of course, it's going to be virtual. It's not going to be like a home desktop computer. It will be a cloud technology is going to be used. But you will not be able to set up a computer like this at your home. You don't have this right. But you can send your crypto units to the given address. For example, Petro or Rita, like 1,000 crypto units. And the more votes this specific nodes has, like people voted for that person, then his or her computer is going to earn more tokens, utility tokens. I showed you a slide how miners of Bitcoins earn money. Their computer is doing the calculation, computing work, and earns 12.5 Bitcoins. The same thing will happen in our blockchain. There is a mainframe, a computer, which confirms, proves those blocks, and earns the tokens of our blockchain, utility tokens. For example, on a specific node, there is 1 million crypto units accumulated. Then that node will have 10,000 utility tokens. Then you gave 1,000 crypto units, and the smart contracts calculates all the owners of the crypto unit who delegated their tokens to that node. That yes, today 10,000 utility tokens were earned by that computer, and it will credit all the owners according to their stake, according to their deposit, the appropriate number of crypto units. Maria, one more question. Can CRU be kept on a distributed ledger? Yes, our CRU tokens, well, look, blockchain is a distributed ledger. So they will be put on a blockchain, and that's where they're gonna be kept. You can put them on staking, or you can keep them. We're talking about your released tokens. You can exchange them for units, which are equal to dollars. You should not necessarily put them on staking. Stake them. You can keep them. And one more question, when are we planning to launch our STO or ICO? Guys, I already answered that question. The STO will depend on 3 things, on 3 dates, actually. The first date, when the Boston American Exchange and its branch merge will receive the approval from the Security Exchange Committee for trading security tokens, and they have 90 days since February. So it's somewhere in end of May. The exchange itself will have a permission to trade in security tokens. Then we will submit the application to the Security Exchange Commission in June that we would like to list our Cryptounit tokens on that particular exchange. And the Security Exchange Committee has 45 days to issue a legal opinion whether those tokens can be traded there or not. So it's by somewhere in August, provided that all the problems related to the virus go away and the transportation communication is restored.
There is a question. Stake can be sent only by the members of the VIP club. Look, the terms of staking and the VIP club participation, we didn't discuss it yet with the Presidential Council, how it will be arranged. Maybe at the first stage, it will be available to the members of the VIP club until it is closed, blockchain is closed. But as soon as it is public, we won't actually stop staking process, and it will be available to all those people who bought tokens, not from the Academy of Private Investor, but from the exchange. Yes, it will be a free market, a second-hand market, and we won't be able to stop it. Please tell us, Copay could be uploaded only to the EOS platform. And what about Android? Bitcoin? BitPay, this is BitPay. Or the same Coinbase. A good organization, and for many countries based on coin-based wallet, there is a function to to fill up from the Visa or MasterCard. And I have a lot of partners in Germany, and they all use this Coinbase wallet there to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. You can refill Coinbase with Bitcoins and withdraw it to your bank card in euro or US dollars in other countries, depending on the national currency of the country. There is another question. Will our tokens we have now automatically converted into the security tokens? Look, our points to CRU tokens, which you all have in the back office, will be automatically migrated to our blockchain. It is called migration to blockchain. Our tokens from the back office will be migrated to blockchain. And if we transferred data to Ethereum on the 15th of January, there we migrated only balances on your accounts, those points of CRU in your back office. So this data was migrated to Ethereum-based blockchain. But because now this blockchain will be ours and we won't pay a commission to network, like in case of Ethereum-based blockchain, we will migrate not the balance, the remains, but all the data as regards the dates of your buying. To say, you bought EIP and got CRUs in May, August, last September, and smart contract will account all these dates of purchases for the tokens to automatically unlock 350 days after. And those points to CRU you received under the marketing plan, they are unlocked in 540 days. And these tokens received under marketing plan, they will be migrated to blockchain as well. So our today's goal is to migrate entries from the back offices to blockchain, all the entries, not the balances in the accounts, but all the transactions, all the entries. And our technical department, IT department, according to its information, it is about 10 million entries. All the purchases, all the accruals of bonuses under the marketing plan, all this information and data with the specific dates of their execution will be migrated to blockchain, and the automatic deblocking will be done through blockchain. There is another question. So there is Explorer CRU-CC. Will we see there our tokens, our blockchain? Yes, this is our blockchain, by the way. And these are the first steps only of its development. I would say this is the draft website or the prototype of the website. As soon as the data migration is over, it is to start from the 15th of April to 20th of April. 10 million entries and transactions will be transparent and seen on through our Explorer. And on this website, you will be able to see all this. There is another question. How is it possible to exchange CRU into stable coin? Now, exchange of CRU is done through your back office, in your back office, through the so-called application board. When our tokens, as soon as our tokens are on blockchain, then on this cryptounit.cc website, there will be tab DES, Decentralized Exchange. It means one person staying in Italy, another one in US, another one in Russia, and they can exchange. Some of them have stable coins, others have CRUs, and in this desk tab or section, they will exchange them. While in back office and then blockchain. And will our wallet enable us to exchange CRU into Bitcoin and then Bitcoins to US dollars? Through the back office, no. Through your wallet, no. It will be the function of our decentralized exchange, because CRU into units and blockchain tokens, but the exchange which is being prepared there, it will be accept Bitcoins and fiat money into fiat US dollars to exchange your CRU tokens. For this, we need centralized exchange, and we have a company registered in Estonia, Unit Incorporation, and it has 3 licenses, including crypto fiat license. So exchange of cryptocurrency into fiat money, euro and US dollars. Under the Estonian license, we are creating our own centralized exchange that will accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. Can we learn which specific blockchain are we going to use? We will have our own private blockchain, EOS-based blockchain. You can have a look at the EOS Explorer for you to have general understanding how our Explorer will look like. So our private blockchain won't have EOS coins. Instead of EOS, we will have our unit, token unit of our blockchain. There is another question. Is it correct to say that at present our legal department is working to address this situation, and in 30 months all our CRU will be unlocked and we will be able to apply them? Not really, actually. Not 30 months. Look, our legal department is preparing a portfolio. Our investment portfolio is packed. How to explain it easily? We are preparing the audit statement or audit report about the estimated value of our portfolio. You know, we invested into the gold segment, gold mining company, $13 million. And today we received the auditor's report on the evaluation of this company with the value of 300 million. And this auditor's report is available in Russian and English, and it is this pack of documents. So this document includes so many pages, not 3 words. So simply stating that we estimate this company to have this value. But this is the confirmation of the surveying works with all the facts that this site has dozens of tons of gold, and this company, its estimated value is $300. And the same applies to Skyway company, in which we have our shares. From Belarus, we received the accountancy documents, this pack of pages, the financial statements provided by this company and the audit report, and all this is to be translated into English. These files of documents for the auditors to prepare their report that you invested into these string technologies 12 or 13 million US dollars or something, but the capacity of this company, like in case of Tesla, is billions of US dollars. And these auditors will prepare their auditor's report. We attach all this because it is our legally enveloped global portfolio in paper, and as soon as it is done, we need to bring this pack of documents to the Securities Committee in the US. It won't happen in 30 months, maybe in 3 months, and as soon as we submit these files of documents to the US Securities Committee, and after this, we need to get from this committee legal opinion, which is to be prepared in 45 days, either to approve this or to actually share some objections or some comments. They have no right to reject us. They say that your files has some information missing, and therefore we are hopeful that in 6 months we will be able, in 5-6 months, we will be able to get this legal opinion from the Federal Securities Committee. And then these tokens already unlocked, they will be traded in exchange. Those tokens that are not unlocked yet, they will be locked up. What is the name of the auditor? I can't share this information with you because we have non-disclosure agreement with them. But it is a top 5 auditors, global. So the option, in case we don't get this legal opinion from the Federal Securities Committee, so the option is Switzerland, and in Switzerland there is an exchange that already today trades in security tokens. This is a Swiss stock exchange, and they have the subdivision for trading in digital assets. Dear friends, you are bombarding me with so many questions. Do apologize. And today in this Swiss exchange, they trade ETF. They are so-called securities. One ETF equals to 1 Bitcoin. And they have such a document or such a security. One ETF includes 5 cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, and something else, the 5th one. They've done a basket of cryptocurrencies and issued for this volume of cryptocurrencies their ETF, a document which actually helps the participants of the stock market to buy cryptocurrency. And all together in total, they have 8 or 9 ETFs in total, because sales of security tokens is a new thing. It's not like cryptocurrencies Bitfinex, or other exchanges. Security tokens are like trading in shares. Therefore, exchanges that accept security tokens are very few of them. So my 5 fingers will be enough to enumerate them all. We know that there is one in the US, they plan to launch it, and in Switzerland. So this subsection of these digital assets started its operation last November. Quite a new unit of the Swiss stock exchange. And we plan to rely on our company in our dealings with the Swiss regulator. There is a question, why Estonia, but not a larger country? Look, in the global geography, not in the world map, not all the countries have the laws that will enable us to get quite quickly the license for exchanging cryptocurrencies into the fiat and vice versa. And we rely on the country with these regulations already in. Will security tokens be posted on the Belarusian exchange? Look, as regards Belarusian exchange, it is called Currency One. We had a round of negotiations with them. They are ready to accept our token to its listing, but the Belarusian exchange has very few trading. And quite probably, in case our tokens are placed there, they are unlikely to be highly demanded because participants of these trading, so they don't know us a lot, but through US and Switzerland. So this is our entry to the global market. Well, dear friends, I am very thankful for your active participation. I do see that there are some pending questions, and it means that this topic is of high relevance to all of you, and we will continue this practice of holding such seminars for our partners. And please follow our news. And 1 hour after, there will be a closed meeting at which Andrei Havratov and members of the Presidential Council will share the latest news. If you are a consultant or you have investments into our company of over 1,000, then please go to your back office, press the tick contract or agreement, and fill in non-disclosure agreement. And as soon as you fill in this agreement, NDA agreement, then you can enter the webinar room at 3 p.m. Moscow time, unless you complete this non-disclosure agreement. So you won't be moved to this closed webinar. So you have over 1 hour left for this. And looking forward to meeting all of you at our closed webinar for our partners in 1 hour, a bit more than 1 hour. So my regards to all of you. Take care and see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.